little warmer tone on the bottom side, and the steels are regular, so. That's a steel string, and in the middle of a show, I'll tune it back to standard tuning and then play a song.
It definitely has a different sound than the nylon.
Yeah, it sustains a little longer. The silken steel gives it a little bit warmer low end, So when you're doing like. And so this is tuned lower than the guitar. So this is D, G, C, G, B, E. So this is standard tuning. E, A, D, G, B, E. So even at 21-inch scale, this guitar can tune down to Hawaiian slack key guitar tunings, which are lower, and it still works.
Wow.
Yeah. And then so these tuners are different. These are 15-to-1 geared tuners, and they're tuned, off to the side. They don't have that clean look of the peg tuners. But in steel, you need a little bit stronger tuners, and you need a little more refined gearing ratio to tune it, because steels don't stretch. They're just like, they stretch very little compared to a nylon, but you need 15-to-1 to get it accurately tuned.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was so much tech.
Yeah, well, I discovered this. Yeah, and then it has a truss rod because it has about twice as much pounds of pressure. On a regular scale steel string, it's about 160 pounds cumulative tension on the strings, and a nylon's about 80.
Okay.
So you need a little bit more strength, and you can adjust the curvature of the neck with an Allen wrench in here, and you can. And then when temperature changes, like you go to Arizona, go to Hawaii or whatever, the neck's gonna move a little bit, and you can always just, in any steel guitar, you can adjust the truss rod.
So the steel string probably costs more than the nylon one because of all the the truss rod and different.
A little bit more, just a little bit more, and then it has the normal steel peg string inserts, because steel strings come with the balls on the end already. So we did it that way. All the saddles are compensated, the nylon and the steel, for the most accurate intonation. And solid spruce tops, just solid mahogany back and sides.
Great design.
And ebony.
Cool. So you had input throughout the whole design of this.
Yeah.
Then, right?
Starting with the body shape. So this body shape came from the tiny tenor ukulele, and then we just discovered man, this thing really works, because we're trying to get the most beautiful sound out of the smallest body possible.
Yeah.
And the evenness of it actually comes from the engineering side, where I'm looking for resonant frequencies and ducking them in parametric EQs to get the best mix possible. So I took those ideas to Pepe and say, how do we do this with wood? And this is what we came up with. And so it's sort of the central focus of the Romero Creations line when he made the tiny tenor 10 years ago in 2013. He got so many orders for it, he had to start a company to build them because he couldn't.
Cool. So that's Romero Creations.
That's how this company got started. And then we expanded it to different sized instruments.
Cool. And is it just one guy who makes all these guitars?
Pepe is the main designer, and he builds handmade ones, which are, for $4,000.
Yeah.
And then Romero Creations is a factory, and it's all handmade, no CNC machines, that he found in Vietnam that makes incredible handmade quality. So these are made in Vietnam, but it's all solid wood and all handmade. Even the heels. To save money, you see most guitars cut here, and then there's a cut here and a line in another piece of wood. these necks are cut out of a single piece of wood, which is expensive because it's you're not making a thin piece of wood like that, but they're really
that's amazing.
beautifully crafted. And
that's so cool that you did that. Like came up with a guitar that you've always wanted, and then got to design it. So.
I wish I had it 20 years ago when I started, because of all the arguments I've had on the flights, trying to carry, full-size guitar in the planes. Sometimes they let you, sometimes they don't. And they don't understand that the guitar is not just expensive, but a one of a kind, because the action is set up to the way you need it. Everything, the set of strings, the pickup's balanced exactly when you want it. If they were to break it, it's not easily replaceable, and it's always been an argument. But this, I take onto a steel string with a my side pickup with no volume, no tone, because I don't like wires in there. I just want the simplest output possible. And I carried on the plane and my ukulele on one shoulder, because it's just the size of a baritone uke. It fits in all the overheads, and that's a huge benefit, to be able to take it everywhere. It's like kind of a convenient jacket. Oh, this is light enough, but it's heavy enough, and it's waterproof, and it's kind of good. So I'm gonna use this jacket, all the time. And
I know all about that. They go on so many hikes.
Yeah. So this instrument, like probably more than any instrument that we've designed together, is really like a dream come true. Pepe and I talked about each instrument, and like, okay, ebony fingerboard, rosewood fingerboard, like frets, radius neck, like how many frets, do you want to meet the body, and every detail about the instrument, even the color of the tuners, like black, and we stain this black because we want it to just all match, and then maybe just the logo stands out.
I like the black.
A clean look. So we went over the rosette and abalone, that's abalone, and the colors of abalone. This is mother of pearl, it's white, because we wanted the white against the black color contrast. And this is abalone, because we wanted color on top of the light spruce. So even down to details like that, and then we like the ebony dark against the light. So the contrast in colors, even of the wood. As we went over the last 10 years through different wood combinations, we found that on certain instruments, mahogany and spruce sound the best, or koa and spalted mango is popular wood.
So it's like with the sound too, makes a difference.
It does. It does. And the way to really understand what the difference is if when you've played 100 instruments that are like this and like that, and you compare it to 100 instruments that are all spalted mango, you take away the other variables. Not take away, but you can, kind of say, well, mango is consistently warmer in these frequencies, and koa has a very strong mid-range, and it's very similar to mahogany, tonally, and that's kind of what I've learned in working with Pepe on these instruments. I learned about strings, diameters. Steel strings have different intonation from nylon strings. So you could set this guitar up. It originally was built exactly like the nylon, but the intonation of the nylon strings is not the same as steel, because it's different material, different diameter, different density. So this bridge has to actually be set back millimeters or fractions of a millimeter to get more accurate intonation of the steel.
So if you were to put nylon strings on here, it would be a bad idea.
Yeah, it does. It works, but it doesn't work, because when I play slaki, I use the whole neck. So everything has to be in tune all the way up here. If you play in first position, it won't matter, because you tune it to open strings and you're using around this area.
You go all the way up.
Yeah. And even the truss rod and how the neck is set. So everything is related. But the things that we found that don't make much of a difference is the headstock. The headstock is used to hold the tuners. So a lot of instrument companies, you see like on ukuleles, like really big long headstocks. What we did is, if you look at our tiny tenor, the headstock's like this long, because we wanted to fit it in a concert gig bag, a full tenor ukulele, into 23 inches overall length into a concert gig bag, because portability is super important for an instrument if you're touring and traveling or going on trips, or playing on the airplane, or as I do, or practicing on a train. So
yeah, and if that part doesn't matter, you can make it as small as you can.
Yeah, so that we try to be as efficient with the designs as possible.
When you're doing like actual performances, do you use the one with the pickup?
Always.
Okay.
Always I have that my side pickup in it, and it's a rechargeable battery, so you don't have to worry about loosening the strings and changing batteries and have more wires to a battery. You just plug it in for 1 minute and it lasts for like 3 shows.
Well.
And plug it in again for 1 minute, and then so I've been using my side for
And
over
that's
15
the name
maybe
of the
15 years.
pickup. Okay.
Yeah, MISI.
MISI, okay.
And so yeah, that in combination with this is like perfect.
Cool.
So I'll still need the space to the I'll still need to, like,
Sounds so good.